Some of you know the frustrations our customers have while trying to electronically work with Amarok, and the reason why we want to develop the portal. Here's what they have to go through. If they want to get their alarm history, they have to go to Security Central Scan, and they have to log in, and then they can see what their alarm history is. If the customer wants to be able to arm and disarm their system, they can either use the app or they can go to the Resideo Total Connect website. Once again, they have to log in. From the login screen, they can arm and disarm the system. Third thing is if we have provided our customers cameras, they have to connect directly to the NVR and they have to log in here again. Once they log in, they then have to choose the cameras that they want to see. So for example, here's our camera that's looking at the service and support area and our break room at the office. Finally, if our customers want to enter a service ticket, they want to be able to find out the status of a service ticket, magically the only thing they can use is they have to use email, and they have to type up an email either to their service and support rep or send it to customerservice@electricguarddog.com. As you can see, the old way of interacting with Amarok, you have to remember a lot of usernames and a lot of passwords. Hence, once again, the reason for the portal. What we're going to do now is we're going to log into the Amarok portal using fictional user Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith is a small regional user for Southeastern Freight Line. So now what we're doing is we're signing in and we are pulling up all of the sites that this particular user, Jordan, has access to. When we go into the portal, we will see that on the upper left-hand side, we have our logo, and then we have what's called a menu board down the side. It starts with a dashboard. That is the page that we are here. Then we have sites, accounting, user management, services, sales, and help. We also have a double arrow below that allows us to shrink the menu board so that we get a larger screen. On the dashboard, we have the alarms in the last 24 hours. We can also go into the details. Sites with service tickets open, 1 of 5, we can go into the details. Sites armed in the last 24 hours, 0 of 5, we can go into the details. And then we're just going to briefly talk about things, and then we're going to go into some details in a little bit. We have my bill, we have users and permissions, we have security, service tickets, the sites, the account where we can manage the account and settings, and my rep. So to start, we're going to go into the sites on the left-hand side. And once again, even though we're going on the menu bar on the left-hand side, we can go into a lot of the same things just using this dashboard and clicking on the details. So as I said, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into sites. For the sites, what we see here is we see all of the sites that fictional Jordan Smith has access to. So because he's once again Southeastern Freight, we have Southeastern Freight in Florence, Southeastern Freight in Kinston, Southeastern Freight in Little Rock, Arkansas, Southeastern Freight Abilene, Texas, Southeastern Freight in Atlanta. When we look at the system, we see what their address is, and then if you'll notice for Southeastern Freight in Florence, South Carolina, it says no alarm panel was found for this site. Same thing for Kinston. Lastly, for Little Rock, Arkansas, we're using this as our test system, and we have linked this particular account to the EGD Office Training Station 2, which is over in our service and support department. So we're going to use Little Rock as our main detail information. For the Little Rock site, if we want to arm our system away, we click Arm Away. Now, what the system is doing is that we're actually using an API with Resideo. The system is sending out the correct login information and the password, and it is telling the system, hey, we need to arm the system away. When the arm away is successful, in the upper right-hand side, we see Honeywell Security System Status Update Complete. The security system status was successfully set to arm away. So we have successfully armed the system. If we want to disarm the system, pretty easy. We click on Disarm. Once again, it is setting all the system information. It's setting the username, the password that the user has set up, and it is transmitting it. So right now we are live setting this to the EGD Office Training Station 2, which happens to be a 128 panel. Now, when we disarm, we will also get in the upper right-hand corner another Honeywell Security System Status Update Complete, and we see that it was set to disarm. As you can see, arming and disarming systems within the portal is pretty easy. The next area we're going to focus on is the buttons at the bottom: details, diagram, and alarms. The first button I'm going to click on is diagrams. What the diagrams button does is it launches a new page tab within the browser that has the most recent layout for a particular site. One area of caution is, although we are currently working on updating the layouts to be very similar to this, a lot of our layouts are basically back of the napkin layouts and they don't look fantastic. As I said, we're in the process of updating these. However, there are some in the system, quite a few actually, that don't look fantastic. I'm going to close that particular page tab. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the button called Alarms. Now, although it's named Alarms, what this is really doing is this is showing our alarm history. So as we go through, we can see for Southeastern Freight and Little Rock, we have the alarm history. We have a little bit of work to do to smooth these things out, make them look a little bit more user-friendly. However, we have really condensed the version, and we don't have quite all the comments that they see within the Security Central app. We can also search for the dates, and we're going to add a couple of other search functions within the portal. I'm going to click back and back again, and now we're going to go into details. When we go into the details page, this is pulling up site information and some other areas of information. The key thing I want to point out is cameras. If I click on Show on Camera 1, we are going to see that this is very similar to the image that we saw within directly connecting to the NVR. Same image, same view, and it allows us to just quickly click to connect to the individual cameras here. As we scroll through some of the information here, we have alarm panel information, devices, contact information, and then some other information at the bottom, some user-friendly information. Also, we can arm and disarm from within this particular screen. And once again, same concept as what we saw before. We'll click Arm Away. Takes a couple seconds, and it comes back and it says Honeywell Security System has been set to Arm Away. That is the site information that we have available within the portal. When we go to the accounting portion, which once again is on the left-hand side in the menu, we go into accounting. This allows the user to see what is owed by the individual sites that they can see. We can show this to a user. We can also suppress this to a user if we need to. We're going to go into Southeastern Freight Little Rock again, and we're going to click on Review. What we have is we have the invoices at the bottom. This is the most recent invoices that they have. If we click here on this download little arrow, we will see the invoice, and for this one it would be October 2019. I'm not going to pull that up, although very exciting. No real need to pull that information up. In the right hand side, we see the payment history. These are the payments that are pending from the portal, so we can see the payment numbers, the amount, what the method, how they paid, and then the status, pending. What's going to happen within the portal is if they decide they're going to make a payment within the portal, we use a service called Stripe, and we can go in, they click on Make Payment. They have the ability to update a card or create a new card if they don't have one in the system. They can go in here. I'm just going to put in $200 payment. They enter the amount. They make payment. What this does is this goes through. We see the payment sent successfully. And what we have is now we have payment number 8 of $200, and we can see that that's pending. Accounting will then get an email alert saying that there's pending payments, and then they will apply it to Sedona and update the status within Stripe so that you see that it's not pending. The next area on the menu bar we're going to jump down to is we're going to jump to services. We'll come back to user management in a moment. When we go into services, the way that this is broken down is that once again, by location, we see the number of open service tickets. So we see Southeastern Freight in Florence has 0, Kinston was 0, and then our favorite, Southeastern Freight in Little Rock, has 2 open service tickets. So the first button we're going to click on here is we're going to go to Service Summary. When we go into Service Summary, we have on the left-hand side, open service tickets, and on the right-hand side, we have closed service tickets within the last year. And so we can see that there were 46 of those. Within each service ticket, there is an arrow, and we can click on the arrow, and we will get more detail. So what we see is on the left-hand side, we have some details for status, which is the ticket number, the origin, and then a basic description, which is the first few characters of the initial problem. Going from bottom to top, we see that the initial issue is both springs at gate are broken, so they cannot arm. Then the next note that we see in the system is we see the note from the service tech. So this is a fair warning to the service tech that any note that you put in the system can now be seen by our customers. So we want to be extra careful on what we place in the notes and what we say about individuals on site. After that, we see where Cody sent an email to Mike Pendergrass at Southeastern Freight and advised him what happened. At that point, we closed the case, and so we see that we have a closed case here. I'm going to go back, and for the open service tickets on the left-hand side, we see that we have the first one from October 25th is please send help, I can't arm, and then on the 22nd, they also created a service ticket. We're going to click on one of the arrows here, and if for any reason the customer has the ticket, they would like to add a comment. They can go in, they can add a comment here, and they can say, fixed myself, I don't need a tech, and we will get an update that that is done. So they type in the note, and they can click submit. Also within here, if we go back, we can see that the comment is in the system. And then the other thing is that even with open tickets, we can have our customers close open tickets so that if they put a ticket in by accident, they can self-close those particular tickets. If we go back to services, once again, Southeastern Freight Little Rock, we have 2 open tickets. If you remember, I just made a comment on an existing ticket. And now what we can do is we can open a new ticket. So we click on open ticket. There is a subject here. And what I'm going to do is just type in a couple of the subject and some comments. And then once they type in whatever information they want, they click on open service ticket. We can see that a new ticket has been created. It says ticket sent. Your ticket has been submitted because that goes to a queue in Service Cloud for our service and support team. And then if we go back to services, we can now see that Southeastern Freight in Little Rock has 3 open service tickets. If we go back to service summary, now we can see the 3 open service tickets that are here. Now that Jim Smith has been added to the account, if we were Jim Smith, what would happen is we would go to our email. In this example, we have our test Gmail account, and we see we have an email from support. When we click on support, it says, hello, Jim, your account has been validated, and then it gives Jim his temporary password and a button to click login. So what we're going to do is we're going to click login. This is going to pop up the portal, and Jim has to now put in his email address, which is I'm doing now. And then he has to enter in his temporary password. Jim can also copy and paste here. When Jim clicks sign in, comes up with a new screen, tells him that his password must be between 8 and 16 characters long, 1 lowercase, 1 uppercase, 1 number. Jim would then create his password and then continue on. I'm going to go back to the portal. The last couple things that I would like to talk about is we have sales on the menu side. Currently, this sends an email to sales if they have a new site or an existing site. In the future, we're going to build this out so that we have some of our ancillary products listed here and some demo equipment. And then we also have help. We need to build out the complete help file and then release it to the site. The last thing is that we do have apps in development. Actually, we are in the approval process with both Google Play and with the Apple App Store. And what we're waiting to do is we're waiting for their approval. We won't release the apps until, well, we go through user beta testing, and we're confident that this is the application that we want to display to all of our customers. The last thing I'd like to show you is what the customer interaction is going to look like for service and support. It's the same interaction that we currently have with our SDRs. When the customer is on electricguarddog.com or Amarok.com, in the bottom right hand corner they have a chat function. They click on chat and they can type in their message. The service and support rep in their inbox within HubSpot will be able to come in and see what the chat message is. After they type in their message, if we go back to electricguarddog.com, we can see that the representative here is Pam, and then what the message is. Really simple and easy integration between our website, HubSpot, and our Service Cloud.